All right. Well, welcome to Center College's webinar for admitted international students and their families. Today, I have three distinguished guests with me who are former international students, or I should say, the Center's international mafia. These are all center grads from various different countries outside the US, and they're here to share a little bit about their center experiences, but also where they ended up after they graduated from center. So with that, I want to open up the floor to the panelists to ask them to introduce themselves, tell us obviously your name, who you are, when you graduated from center, where you called home before you came to center, and where you are and what you're doing now. So I'm going to go clockwise. Anahit, why don't you start and then pop it over to somebody else?
Hi, everybody. First of all, congratulations on your acceptance to Center. I hope you decide to go to Center because it's life-changing. My name is Anahit. I am from Yerevan, Armenia. If you don't know where Armenia is, it's in South Caucasus. I'm the most recent graduate out of the three of us. I graduated this past May, so I'm class of 2023. This is my first year out of college, and I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm working in clinical research at Planned Parenthood. So I'm working with reproductive health care and currently trying to get FDA approval of various cervical cancer screening items. So that's currently my job.
Amazing. I guess I'll pop it over to Teo.
Hey everybody, nice meeting you here. Just like I hate to say congratulations on being accepted to Center. It's a great accomplishment. I'm originally from Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, that where I'm speaking from right now. And I currently work with international development and sustainable development, pretty much consulting with international organizations and helping governments. And it's really good to know that Stanford is expanding its international community and I'm here to answer the questions.
Amazing. Uh, Last but not least, Luke.
Hey everyone, my name is Minh Đức Nguyen, and all my friends call me Luke. Congratulations on your admission to Center, and I really hope you guys will join, our school. It is a great place to be, and it's very life changing for sure. I'm from Hanoi, Vietnam, originally, and I graduated like a while ago, 2018. It's been a while, definitely. And right now I am living in Cincinnati, Ohio, working as a software developer for Amazon. It's been a long time since I get back to center, and I still have a lot of good memories, a lot of life-changing experience that I would like to share to everyone today.
Amazing. Thank you all for your wonderful introduction. So, as you know, I am also a center grad, so I know all these people in different capacities, have overlap with them either as a staff member or as a classmate. So I'm very happy that they're here to share their experiences again. So the plan for today is to have a panel discussion where I'll be asking these wonderful folks some questions about their center experiences, what they're doing now, how they got to where they are. But of course, we will have to go back all the way to where it all begins, where you are sitting right now, which is, as high school students making their decisions and all of that. So this first question is for everybody, and that is, how did you first find out about Center? And tell us a little bit about how you ended up here as a student. So anybody can feel free to go first and then pop it over to whoever wants to go next.
I can go ahead. This is the question that I got so many times my first year, because how does an international student end up in Danville, Kentucky? I don't know if you all are a part of this or have heard of this, but I was a student at Education USA Armenia, which is pretty much an organization, an international organization that helps people find universities in the US. And my main criteria for college choices were a place for great like women in STEM programs because I wanted to come as a biology major. I ended up graduating with a biology major. And I wanted a small place where you can get a lot of individual attention from faculty and staff so that they will help you in the future and that will help you like a place where you can thrive as much as you can. So one of the choices was Center College because they had great scholarship programs and they had great STEM programs for women. And I ended up getting accepted with a great scholarship package. So that's how I ended up at Center.
Well, I'll go ahead because my story kind of connects. Sorry, Luke, did you want to go ahead? No, all right. Just because it connects with the same kind of aspects there. I was also an Education USA student with the program called Opportunity Grants. And at the time, I had been accepted to a few programs, but none of them gave me a scholarship. And then my mentor said, there's this really good school in Kentucky that has just started this new scholarship called the Lincoln Scholars Program. You should have a look at it. And so I had a look on the program, and I kind of fell in love with the school before I was even there. So I applied to Center that year specifically. So I took a gap year, and that year specifically, I only applied to Center. I was already studying another school, so I was very sure that I wanted to go to this school. So when I got accepted to Center, I dropped the place that I was and I moved there. And then the very good aspect of that was when I had a chance to visit Center before I actually was fully accepted as a Lincoln Scholar. I fell in love with the school. As soon as I got on campus, one of the admissions officers, who has been telling that story to Joy, she ran across campus to give me a hug and say, "We're so happy we're here." I really felt at home. So I knew that I was making a good decision.
Thank you guys for sharing the story. I feel like my story is actually pretty similar to the so when I was in high school toward the end of the junior year, I was starting to get a little bit worried about like what I'm gonna do after graduation. Like, am I gonna go to college? Am I gonna take a gap year? Am I going to go study abroad? All those kind of questions just give me a lot of anxiety. And until I met one of my other friend from the same high school. He's 1 year older than I am, and he actually went to Center, like the year before I graduated from high school. During that summer, he got, he flew back home and he spent the summer at home, and I was able to connect with him. And like he just told me like, hey, I'm going to this school. It's called Center. It's in Kentucky. It's a great place. I'm having a really good time there. They have good program, and just like that meeting with him give me a little bit of direction on what I might be able to do. So when I get home, I did a little bit more research on the school. I found out that it is like the size of the school is exactly what I want. I don't want like to be in a huge place where it's hard to get that one-to-one connection with your professor. So Center is the perfect size for me. Also, as Anahit say, they Center offer a really good scholarship as well. So I like that's all I focus on. I focus on doing all the paperwork, getting everything ready, apply to Center, apply for scholarship, and at the end, I got in, and I do not regret this route at all that I chose.
Amazing. That's really interesting to hear different pathways on how you found out about Center. For Anahit and Mateos, it was Education USA. For Luke, it was his friend who went to the same school. So it's interesting to see how various different students find out about Center. And I know for some of the students on the call here as well, the way you found out about Center are through a lot of different ways. So we'll be curious to hear some of those later on when you get here. But to start us off, now that we have sort of how these folks have found their way to Center, I guess going into their Center experience, This is a question for all of the panelists. Looking back at your center days, what were some of the things that you were involved in on campus when you got here? What were some of the student organizations that you were involved in? Some of the projects you worked on? So anything of the sort, feel free to share.
I can go first if you don't mind. So when I went to center, I decided to just kind of like get out of my comfort zone and just get into as many things as possible, and experience, all the new thing that I haven't really thought of doing before. So one of the big thing is I was in the International Student Association, and that's one of the best experience I had. We get together on like different occasion, different holidays, from different like country from Asia, and we got to learn a lot about like different culture. It is very like interesting to learn about all the culture from all this country that is very close to your own country. But like the you can see the similarities as well as the differences in those holidays or like the practices. So that's one of the like one of the best organization I've been in when I'm in the center.
I'll go next because I was also involved in very similar things. One of the best things about Center is that because the student body is so small, you get a lot of opportunities to be a leader and to get involved in a lot of clubs and organizations. And I was also part of International Student Association at first as a participant. Then I realized how big of an impact the association has on student body. So I applied to be a part of the leaders team there that like helps organize the events and everything. So I ended up being a part of that leader team for 3 years, and it was the best experience ever because we got to celebrate all the cultures represented. And I feel like during my year, especially because I'm the last graduate here, I'm the most recent graduate here, we had a lot of, we had a huge diversity of cultures and representation of a lot of nations. So it was fascinating to see how we can all come together to celebrate each other. Apart from ISA, the International Student Association, I was also involved with the admissions office. I got to talk to a lot of prospective students and admitted students on our study abroad programs, on in general what Center has to offer. So I've been honored to be able to work with Jessica Leonard and Jojo here very closely in the past 4 years. But yeah, Center offers you amazing opportunities to be able to be a leader.
Oh, awesome. I also was part of an organization, but it wasn't ISA. I was part of the Latin American Students Organization, and that was a very good experience for me. I really wanted to connect with my regional experience. Brazil is a very big country. They're very consumed in terms of culture. Every state has a different type of culture, and I didn't have as much exposure to Latin American cultures. So being part of that organization, the only Brazilian on campus at the time, was really, really interesting for me. And I was working with the treasury, so I was the treasurer. And I got to learn new skills and abilities, how to communicate in Spanish, which is not the language that we speak in Brazil. So that was really, really interesting how the cultures were so similar yet so different. Other things that I did on campus was to be part of a research project, which was called Pathway to Diversity. And I started working on that research right in my very first year of college, basically doing research on understanding centers development, coming from multiracial perspective, but also international perspective. And I found out amazing stories about Cuban students, where center's very first Black student wasn't an American, but actually someone who came from another country. And its connections with international relations, which is the area that I work with. I also worked as residential assistant. So that was an amazing experience to work with students and actually be someone who would support both international and American students which made me connect very well with both the US and with the international perspective. But I also tried to do things that were not so much within the organization scope, but rather trying to join organizations. And one of them was the family weekend. A lot of international students don't have families that can go and visit them on the weekend. So I kind of came up with this idea that we would host international students in my dorm and we would become our own family on campus. And that was really, really touching for me. Of course, I missed my family, but the thing that was really important to me was to know that we could all support each other, and the international community in the center was actually one that was very strong and one that was very understanding of one another, and still is. We have great connections even after graduating from center. So, I mean, there were things that were within the organization scope, but of course, things that were also about day-to-day center.
Amazing. That's great. That's really great to hear about all of your on-campus experiences. Of course, there's a ton of things for students to do, and I know most of the students that are on this call today have heard from a lot of different folks, current students as well, about how students can be involved and how that helps them inform them of their worldviews and a lot of various different things. And I know we also have Jessica Leonard on the call. Jessica, do you want to say hi? Because we're talking quite a bit about International Student Association, but also Family Weekend and all of that.
I can say a quick hi. I don't want to take up too much time because I really want the alums to be able to share their experience. But I'll just say a quick hello. I am the staff advisor for International Student Association. We just had their election, so really excited for what events they'll do next year. But I also help advise a few other groups on campus. So yeah, looking forward to greeting everybody soon.
Thank you, Jessica. And of course, most of the folks that are on the call, and they're all very grateful for your help during their time here at Center. Well, that's great. I think the panelists shared a couple of different touch points on, the center experience, but diving a little bit deeper into the things that you have done here on campus. How did my next question for all of you is, how did your center experiences shape your, understanding of the career that you're pursuing right now? I know at the beginning of the call, you all mentioned what you're doing now, but what are some of these experiences that have shaped your career and the understanding of the field that you're in while you were a student? Are there certain specific experiences, whether it's research or study abroad or, various different kind of things, those impacted your understanding of it? And are there any resources and support that you have utilized to pursue those career aspirations? It's a two-parter, 2.5 questions there.
You can go ahead here, just to connect with also the international experience, right? Center asks a lot of students to travel abroad and do things abroad. This is definitely what shapes me. This is really when I was an international international studies major, but really being able to travel and do an internship in other countries, do an independent study. I did 2 independent studies. One was in Senegal, and another one was actually in 7 countries. I took what I call a backpack trip, a Euro trip, and I traveled to different European countries, writing research on the development of Europe post 1945, which was during the Second World War. So those experiences really helped me to see the world with a completely different perspective, and the support that I received from both professors and mentors was really important to help me make a decision on whether I wanted to work within the international development arena or not. It's so being able to read books and actually write reflections on it, be able to discuss things that I live in another place, live with different families, go to different schools, speak with people that came from completely different backgrounds and perspectives was really important. Although Center is a small school in Kentucky, which seems to be a little limited from the outer world, is actually very, very different from that. And Center is very well connected to the global perspective. And be able to travel, and I have to travel to 13 countries as a graduate, as an undergrad student. That really, really helped. And I look back at this experience, and I know for sure that I would not be the person that I am today if I had not gone to Center, because of course these things change you. It really impacted me in a very good way. And another aspect of that was when I was studying international studies, Center had a very good focus on climate and environment, and the school was championing this. The Center's first lady had a good approach on planting trees on campus and talking about the impact of sustainability. In classes, professors tried to connect the climate crisis with the actual overall development of life. And that's where I decided that this really had to be something important to me as well. So, this overall internship, research, and of course, mentorship had a great impact on my career.
Oh yeah, you go ahead and then. Oh, okay. You go.
Okay. Mine is also very similar to Mateus. I want to specifically mention study abroad, internships, and research as well. I remember when I first came to Center and people kept talking about study abroad. Nice cat. People kept talking about study abroad, and my first thought was like, I'm already studying abroad. Is there opportunities to do more? And believe me, there are opportunities to study abroad. I believe 85% of students end up studying abroad. And I was one of those. I spent a semester in England, and when I was there, I took a marine biology class, and I always knew that I wanted to do something with marine biology. And that pushed me to think about marine biology research. So my next step was to take a trip to Belize with one of my favorite professors and gather data on coral health. I have a poster of a coral behind me. So I ended up writing a research project. It's currently being peer reviewed to be published soon on sustainability, on conservation of coral reefs in the Caribbean. However, I was between that and public health, and that's the beauty of liberal arts, that you get the best of all of it. If you approach any professor and say, I want to do research, they will be they will be there for you. They will help you either find a professor that is doing similar research, or they're one of the professors that is interested in doing research with you. So I applied to this grant called Atkins Scholars Program that is very new at Center, and it gives students money for research. And me and one of my professors end up doing research on women in war and reproductive health care of women in South Caucasus during wartime. And I'm from South Caucasus, so it was very close to home. And that research, coupled with other internships that I've done throughout my time at Center, shaped my understanding of what I actually want to do as a career. So one of the internships that I was able to do is apply for an internship grant through Center called Shepherd's Program, and intern during the summer in Baltimore, Maryland, where I was working with people without health insurance, and we were providing comprehensive free healthcare. And that was when I realized that being in a country with such complex healthcare systems, we need people with liberal arts education working in public health, because we have holistic idea of what public health is, what people need for healthcare. So that's how I ended up in reproductive care through my research projects at Center and the internships that I did throughout Center with Center grants.
Perfect. Thank you guys for sharing the experience. For me, I would say the most outstanding kind of thing that I got from Center is the support of the professors and the staff in like my way of like in my time of figuring out things at Center. Like the support and system is phenomenal. They create this safe environment where you can take risk and do things that you would never have done before. You can try and dabble in different things, like and just get experience and get guidance from, anyone who was in that field before you. So, for example, I work at the library part time as a student worker, and I got to just out of like I just learned how to handle the library system, how to like just stacking book. That's a lot like more difficult than I thought it would be, right? Like it looks very easy when people do it, but they have a whole system on it. Those kind of experience really helped me when I started my career as well. It gave me this sense of yearning for like learning different things. It keep me, my mind just keep, running like, oh, let me learn a little bit about this, a little bit about that. I feel like that is the most important thing that I got out of center to bring into my career path right now. Is that sense of yearning for like learning new things and the sense of just like guidance from all the professor and staff at center. Um, as for researching experience, I also have very good experience with researching individually at center as well. All I had to do is bringing my idea to my professor, say like, hey, for the next semester, I would like to do an independent study on this. Do you have any recommendation? And my professor was really helpful, and they were able to give me some idea of okay, like they helped me shape this general idea that I have in my mind into a very specific topic to do research on. And they also helped me, just along the way. Anytime I run into a blocker, I would have my professor there helping me figuring things out. Or if they couldn't figure it out, they would point me to the right person to figure it out. So that also gave me a sense of like, oh, how do I problem solve, right? Like you don't get stagnant, you just keep going and find solution to different problem. And that's also a part of my job that I learned a lot from my time at center as well.
Amazing. That's really good to hear. I think from the panelists, you learn that there are different types of experiences that you can pursue at center and how eventually help them with their career development. And before moving to that career part, before post-graduation, very quickly, what was one memorable moment that you really cherish here at center while you were a student? And you can't say it is working with Joy.
Hey, this is an easy one. One of my I don't know like favorite memory is me and my friend just playing volleyball together. We I remember that was like right after our final exam at the very end of our career at center. Uh, we finish our exam, we meet up, and we're just like, man, we're done now. Like, it's over. We're done with college now, and we just play volleyball for like 3 hours. Got super tired, and just like go get food. That was really good memory. It's a mix of like oh we have gone through this whole long path with each other, and now we are like celebrating it with something that we just enjoy. That's a very good thing to look back to.
I think mine was, it's gonna sound weird, but was during COVID. I was abroad and I had to go back to center because the world was falling apart. And then I got to campus and well, I was studying in London at the time, and I got to campus and the staff had organized a very nice room for me to be sheltered. And there were chocolates and cards and hearts and a lot of really cool things to welcome me back. And then I really felt at home in a moment of crisis. And also the international community that had to stay on campus. We were able to form a really good relationship. And that summer, which I think was the summer 2020, because I can't remember the time anymore when the world was falling apart, because it fell apart for so many months. But the summer 2020 was one of the most important summers in my life, because I was on campus with all these amazing students, all cooking together, all meeting together. We really became a family. We really became a support for one another. And that's one of my best memories of being far from my home, worried about my family in Brazil, but knowing that I had a home on campus.
And that was the time that we discovered the beauty of Danville, because Danville had a lot of hidden gems that we did not know about. I was also one of the students that stayed on campus during COVID, and Danville did not disappoint. Um, I think my most cherished memory is me coming back from study abroad and reconvening with my friends. I remember I came back, and that was the time that this was right after the COVID shutdown, and all of our study abroads were canceled during the COVID time. So we all had to, we delayed our program the semester after. So as I mentioned, I was in England, then I spent some time in Costa Rica, then I was in Belize, and I came back to my friends who were also spending the last 9 months just traveling the world. And we all went to one of our favorite restaurants in Danville. It's called Mi Pueblo. You should visit. It's a Mexican place. You should go when you come. It's a beautiful place. And we all just got meals and started presenting what we've been doing in the last 9 months. And it was fascinating because all of us had such different experiences, but were equally supported by Center throughout our experiences. Whether it was a program like mine, where I was enrolled in a different university in England, or like my friend who was in Nantes in France in full immersion French program, speaking French for 9 months. And someone was in Strasbourg during that time with Center professors. So Center offers variety of study abroad. I will take any opportunity to talk about study abroad. This is one of them. Center offers variety of study abroad programs, and we all had amazing experiences in all three types of them. So that is my most cherished memory, coming back together and catching up on all the beautiful things that were happening to us in the last 9 months. And working with Jojo and Jessica.
I thought that was not allowed. You weren't allowed to say that. Oh, well, thank you all so much for sharing all of your cherished memories at Center. I'm sure there are plenty, and I made you choose one, so I apologize. Well, and so those are all, I mean, obviously there's a lot more to your Center experiences than the ones that you mentioned, because we don't have a whole, we don't have the entire day. I wish we do. But from there, obviously we're transitioning to where you go after you graduated from Center. So this question, I'm going to start asking specific questions to each of the panelists now. So starting with Mateos, you attended graduate school at Columbia University after Center. Could you share a little bit about how your graduate school admission and your graduate school experience was shaped by your Center experiences? Did you feel that you were prepared for graduate studies after Center?
Great question. I think that I would connect back to the idea of being able to travel and get to know people and work. I graduated with a master's of global thought at Google University, which is really about connecting with, global perspectives and understandings that different people have on globalization, either on the good, on the bad side, and a critical perspective on it. And being in a liberal arts school for my undergrad studies was definitely one of the most important things I could have ever done in order to be successful in my graduate studies. And more than just being in the liberal arts education, being able to connect with this global community. But there's one aspect of being in graduate school that really helped, which is it was easier than Center. It sounds really funny. And I'm not saying the Center is hard. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Center really prepared me, really prepared. The academic challenges that I faced in Center, the papers that I had to write, the dialogues and perspectives that were shared in the classroom when I was in graduate studies, I really knew that I was prepared to complete my graduate studies without feeling, let's say, unprepared, without feeling that I wouldn't be able to do it. Center gave me the confidence that I could go to graduate studies. In fact, Center was what prompted me to go to graduate studies. I had several meetings with professors before making that decision. I remember thinking of whether I was good enough to go to graduate school. My professors were actually telling me that I should go to graduate school. So the decision of being able to go and pursue postgraduate studies was also shaped by the idea that as a center student, nothing was kind of impossible if I wanted to put my heart and mind into it. And just to close on this aspect, Columbia is a great place, and I love being at Columbia. And all the resources that I had at New York University, sorry, not New York University, I'm sorry, Columbia University, New York City, I really missed the connection with Century. I missed the connection that I had with my professors, that close connection. I realized that now Century had me prepared for the world, which was very different from what Century could offer me. And part of being at New York, being in New York, was actually be able to connect back to Century students. So Anna, for example, had dinner in my house in Manhattan. So we were actually able to connect a bunch of students when I was there and really know the center was an international community. And by accident, one day walking on campus, I find another Central student studying at Columbia. And guess what? He was also a Lincoln Scholar. So, Center is a small place, but it's so connected with the world that makes the world seem very small too.
Yeah, no, that's really great, Mateos. And I, as someone who has gone to graduate school after center as well, I can attest that some of your graduate classes will be a little easier because at center you are challenged in a lot of different ways, academically, emotionally, physically, personally, but in the process you grow a lot. So I think that's how you are able to tackle on whether it's graduate studies or whether it's going into the workforce. And I think that's a good segue into going into the workforce. So for Anahi, you're currently on optional practical training, or OPT. Could you speak a little bit more about what OPT is, how this process works, and additionally, did you feel that center prepared you well for your current career in reproductive health and healthcare equity?
Yeah, absolutely. Regarding OPT, OPT stands for Optional Practical Training, and it's a time after graduation that you're able to work in the US as an international student. So you still keep your F1 visa status and you get authorized to work up to 3 years, depending on your major. So if you are in STEM, you get up to 3 years of work authorization. How I handled that, that's all Jessica Leonard. She helped a lot with the application process and just walking us through what that looks like, because I'm sure you all are very stressed about the visa processes, and I understand it is stressful. US immigration is no joke. So Jessica is an amazing support system when it comes to navigating that process. So I am currently on my OPT. I got my OPT approved in the summer, and I started working shortly after that. And moving to St. Louis, Missouri, after Danville, Kentucky, to give you an idea, location-wise, it's very close to each other. It's just a neighboring state, but it is very different because St. Louis is a much bigger city than Danville is. However, I was very prepared for that change because while we mentioned Kentucky might seem very restrictive because it's a small town, Center gave us such a great experience with study abroad, with internships and everything, that doesn't matter if you're going to New York or even a smaller town in Kentucky, you're prepared for everything. But navigating through the workforce, again, I had great support from Center. St. Louis apparently had a lot of Center alums that I got to connect with. Some people, even from Center, came to visit me because it was so close. Still waiting to host Mateus as he did in Manhattan, but he's in Brazil, so that's fine. but working in Planned Parenthood, working in reproductive care, I felt very prepared because of my internship experiences at Center. I was told that they were impressed with the amount of research experience I had because they didn't expect liberal arts to provide that experience, because usually you would see research in much bigger schools. But because Center offers so many opportunities and you're guaranteed to have a research project if you're interested, I was able to have either both marine biology and reproductive care experience in my resume, which was amazing. So yeah, I was fully prepared for this change. I had opportunities to work in lab as I was in Center, and now I'm working in clinic in a clinic, and which has like lab components. So nothing in my new job was new to me because Center prepared me for all. The only thing that was different is that I cannot run to my support systems, my staff members and faculty when my visa is about to expire and I'm about to cry, or when I cannot figure out something. But even then, even after graduation, they are still there for you, which is amazing.
We may not be there physically, but we're always here virtually. So, well, thank you, Anahi. And turning to Luke, who is a member of the U.S. economy and workforce. Luke, you went straight into the workforce after you graduated from Center, and you're currently at Amazon, working as a software development engineer. How did you manage to land this opportunity after Center?
Yeah, I will go right into the meat of it. I would say it would be because of the relationships that I formed when I was at Center that I was able to get to this point in my career professionally. At the time where I was started looking for jobs in my senior year, at that point, I already have like a handful of internship and experience under my name, and all of those experience and internship, I got them through like talking to alumni, talking to my friend who are a few years older and has already went through those kind of experience, and they can introduce me back to those companies that offer internship. I also spent a summer working in the IT department as well, and also that come from my professor pointing me toward like, hey, there's an opportunity this summer. If this seems to be a something that really down your alley, should just go ahead and apply for it. And I did, and I got in, and that also give me more experience on how to be a member of the workforce, how to work with other people. That seems so easy, but it is a skill that you have to build up and get used to for sure. And again, also the Center experience, the challenges that we go through as a student at Center, help me figure out how to learn, if that makes sense. So I'm not really intimidated by like new things. Something come my way, that'll be an opportunity to learn, and I know how to learn stuff. I can do my own research. I can find my resources. I can find people who can help me. That is like a habit that got formed during my time at Center as well. So back to your question, right? Back to your question. I got this opportunity of working at Amazon, also through another Center alumni, Nick Miller, if you remember him. He's 1 year older than I am, and he's graduating the same year as George I did. He actually worked at Amazon right after graduation. And by the time I started looking for a job in my senior year, I just kind of like applying for everywhere. And I also reach out to people who I know. And Nick just happened to say like, hey, I'm about to leave this position. I'm about to go move on to the next one. So there will be, like a vacancy. How about you prepare your resume? I will put in some work for you and we go from there. And that's all it takes, out of all the applications that I just kind of send blindly online. Through this connection with my friend Nick, I was able to get, my foot into the professional world. And from there, just, me keeping, keeping going ahead, and like learning new things with that kind of experience that I got from center. All of them kind of helped me shape into my career path right now. And like even right now, like it's been 10, like almost 10 years since the day I got to center. I still have really good connection with a lot of center alumni. I talk to, like my friends, like my group of friends, my co-friends, we still talk to this day, and we play games, we hang out together. Even if we're farther away, we still, like get like with Zoom and Skype, we were able to connect very frequently. And I definitely think that these are the relationship that I would keep for the rest of my life as well.
Amazing. I think there are a couple of common denominators here, and that is opportunities that you can pursue and people that are there to help you guide you in the direction that you want to pursue, but also the power of Center Mafia, as Luke mentioned. And of course, all these folks here on the call are part of the Center Mafia. So, and you know that we are a global community. Wherever you go, there will certainly be someone who's connected to Center, either through, one of their children going to Center or a Center alumni living abroad. So just because we're in the US, just because we are an American college, doesn't mean that we only have those network in the United States. As you can see, well, most of us on this call are in the US, but for example, Mateos is in Brazil. A lot of what Luke mentioned, a lot of our common mutual friends are all over the world. So that is to say that we are global in a lot of different ways. I know we're a little bit over time, but I want to give this opportunity to our panelists for them to share a 30 to 40-minute parting advice for international students who are about to embark on their college career in the US. If you have 30 to 40 seconds, what would you tell them? Luke, do you want to go first? Because I know you have to be on a call in a little bit.
Yeah, I would love to. I would say like the opportunity to study abroad is, I would say, a blessing that not a lot of people can get, and just make the most out of it. Personally, I would say please take risk and do something that you would never think you would do, because center create a safety net for you to fall back on. So this is the chance for you to reinvent yourself, try new things, just do things differently. And once you get into the US, I would say, I mean, like, it is a new chapter. Like it's a very separated and new chapter of your life. So like honestly, you can just do whatever. Like no no one is stopping you from doing anything. Take risk, and yeah, just reinvent yourself. Just try everything out. Make the most out of your experience at center. That would be my advice.
Right. Yes. Going along with that, of course, make the best of your experience. It seems like 4 years is a lot of time, and time really flies. And once you're gone, you will miss it. So I really make good connections, make good friends, explore Denver. There's so many good things to do in Denver. And I remember coming back one spring, one of my summers, going to the Hub, which is a coffee shop downtown Denver, and really feeling at home because I now had connected with the community out to Turkish countries as well. And one thing I would definitely say is do your homework, study, dedicate yourself to your academics, but also connect socially. And I would even say essentially challenge yourself, the things that you've been doing. Try to learn new things. There's so many things that you could learn: languages, cultures, political views, economic backgrounds. Center will definitely give you a lot of experiences that will help you shape your overall perspective on yourself, on others, and out of the world. So once you get to center, don't be centered just within you, but also, go outside the box.
Mine is also very similar to what Luke and Mateus have been saying. Make connections. Make connections with your peers, with your professors, with the staff members, because you're coming to the US by yourself most of the time, and center is going to be your family. And I was telling them before you all joined the call, I have already visited center 3 times since I've graduated, and it's not even been a year since I graduated. And that just shows a lot on how much you stay connected with center. And I come to visit my professors as much as my peers. And another advice that I have is, because center is so small, because there's so many opportunities in center, do not be afraid to create your own. So we all come from different countries and we all have our own unique needs. And if there is a time that you think that there's something missing, that there could have been more, do not just settle with the fact that there might not be that opportunity. You can create that very easily. You can go to, if it's specifically international student related, you can go to our international student office, to Jessica or Joy, or to our International Student Association, and work together to create that. And this kind of connects to the question in the chat. During one of our breaks, we all thought that we could really use some counseling sessions with our counseling center, so therapy sessions. So me and my friends got together with some staff, and we created student support groups for international students. So we would gather together with our counselors and just talk about what has been bothering us. And that's how we connected with the rest of the international population at center, because we all have such similar experiences. And that was because we all, in a conversation, realized that there's something missing. And we also realized center gives you the opportunity to fill that gap. So do not be scared to create something that you might think is not there.
Wonderful words of wisdom. So thank you all so much for sharing these. And I know we are at time in terms of the panel. We went a little over, but I want to take this opportunity to thank all of my panelists here today. So give them a round of applause, virtual or, physical. Thank you all so much. And we have a little bit of time. I know Luke has to go. So Luke, thank you so much for coming, and best of luck with your meeting. But if Anahit and Mateos, if you can stay on for a little bit, I don't know how much time you're able to give us, but we would appreciate any time that you're able to give us. And we'll open up the floor for Q&A.
I can stay for a few minutes too. I don't have a call until 10:05. I'll be chilling for a little bit.
Okay, well, great. Well, in that case, I'm going to stop recording and